Alrighty, we are live from West Orange, New Jersey at Todd Seideman's apartment. I'm going to wait a couple minutes so we can get some people joining us here, but I want to welcome everyone to Sports Center with Todd. Hashtag let's go. It has been a rough couple of weeks for sports fans out there. Obviously, we have had, give or take, about a week and a half to 2 weeks of no basketball, no March Madness, so everyone's, calling it March Sadness these days. And the NFL free agency, honestly, has been something that has been keeping sports fans alive and interested in turning on SportsCenter. So, to introduce myself to everyone, my name is Todd Seideman. I am the assistant director with Camp Dini Reback. Camp Dini Reback is an off-site property that runs a day camp for children aged 3.5 to 15 years old. We have an unbelievable time. We have swimming pools. We have sports. We have everything you can imagine. So if you are home right now thinking, what am I going to do for my child this summer? Camp Dini Reback is probably the answer. So give us a call. We're happy to talk with you. But now let's get into the sports topic. So a couple things I'm going to be talking about. Like I said, NFL free agency has been huge the last week. Obviously, we are missing out on March Madness. I am a college basketball freak when it comes to that, so this is a very sad time for me. We'll talk about March Madness, all the parity in college basketball, and what we could have witnessed, probably one of the most unbelievable March Madnesses. And then a little bit of NBA. This season, honestly, was incredible until it ended. Hopefully, we get to see it run back up in June. You had LeBron James coming back from an injury last year. Everyone thought he was washed up. He was done, 16 years, great career, but he comes back in his 17th season, leading the league in assists with 10.8 assists. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable. The amount of miles he has on his legs right now to keep on doing it and going against these 21, 22-year-olds. I mean, absolutely incredible. You got Giannis, a.k.a. the Greek Freak, probably going to be back-to-back MVPs, but I'm going to tell you why I think LeBron is still in the running for it if the season continues. So we'll talk about that. But first, I think we should really start with the GOAT. And if you don't know what the GOAT is the greatest of all time, and that is Tom Brady. Tom Brady has spent 20 years with the New England Patriots, and I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but he's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year. Yes, I'm going to repeat that for everyone. Tom Brady is going to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer next year. I think it's an unbelievable decision by him. I know a lot of Patriot fans are really, really upset at this, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't feel that bad for you. If anybody's watching that's a Patriots fan, it's going to be all right. You'll live. I'm a New York Jets fan, and I have not experienced them even going to the Super Bowl in my 29 years of living. So I really don't feel that bad for you. He is a winner. He's a competitor. I mean, he could easily go out right now and be the GOAT. He has nothing to prove whatsoever, but he wants to keep winning, and I think Tampa Bay is a great option for him. He hasn't had a wide receiver since Randy Moss. I mean, let's be honest, Julian Edelman, he's legit. But, I mean, he's a 5'9" target and a slot receiver. So I don't really know what we're going to get out of him much more. I think going to Tampa Bay, number one, warm weather. Number two, no state income tax. Does he need the money? No. His wife's got plenty of it as well. But, hey, more money is always great. In addition to that, he's got Mike Evans, a 6'5", 240-pound wide receiver. Fun fact, he has never passed to a wide receiver over 6'4". Randy Moss was 6'4". Mike Evans is 6'5". I mean, he's an absolute deep threat, a stud wide receiver. I'd say top 5 in our league today. You got Chris Godwin up and coming. And I think they have a top 5 defense now, too. I mean, Todd Bowles coming from the New York Jets, now with Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians. I mean, they got everything you need. They got all the weapons. I mean, I think it's going to be a tremendous year for them. And they finished 7-9 last year in the NFC South. Keep in mind, Jameis Winston was playing Drew Brees twice a year. If you go from Jameis Winston to Tom Brady, you're an instant playoff contender. No questions asked. I don't care if he's playing Drew Brees twice a year. I don't care if he's playing Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if he's playing Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. You got Tom Brady behind the shotgun running an offense, you're an instant playoff contender. And just keep in mind, guys, next February, just if you were wondering, the Super Bowl is going to be played in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, I really think, is going to bring it home. And it really hurts for me to say this as a Jets fan because I've just been witnessing this year in and year out, and it's just taking a toll on me. But I really think Tampa Bay is going to be the team to beat next year. I think he's on a mission. I think he wants to prove everyone wrong, that he's still got a lot left in the tank. And most importantly, He can win without Belichick. Listen, guys, Bill Belichick is a stud of a coach. He's unbelievable. He's the GOAT of coaches, let's be honest. But he's not on the field producing. He's not the one when the clock's winding down in the 2-minute drill, slotting it out to these average wide receivers and making them, Pro Bowlers. That's Tom Brady. So we'll see what the Patriots do. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be great. I think New England's still going to be a threat in the AFC East, which isn't saying much considering it's the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets. But I really, really think that Bill Belichick will still make some noise. Do I think Tampa Bay is going to be better? Absolutely. No question about it. So if you guys have any questions about Tom Brady, let me see what I got here. All right, Cam. Shout out to Cam. He's agreeing with me. I love it. I got an LOL from Deb, my co-assistant director. Deb, love you. Oh, my brother's joining. Zach Seidemann, welcome to the mix. I got my director, Dana, in here. So we'll stop to talk with Tom Brady. If you guys have any questions about that, just comment below. I'm happy to talk about it for sure. Rachel Gordon, hello. Let's go. That's right, guys. The hashtag for this is Let's Go. Let's talk about another crazy trade in the NFL. I'm talking DeAndre Hopkins, guys. Yes, DeAndre Hopkins. Hands down, top 3 receiver in the game. I know you're going to talk about Julio Jones. I know you're going to talk about Michael Thomas. But DeAndre Hopkins, I would say, is in that top 3. The guy doesn't drop balls, period. And without him, I don't think Houston would ever make the playoffs. They traded him for an issue with Bill O'Brien. Listen, players and coaches aren't going to get along all the time. It's facts. But if you want to win, you need a number 1 deep threat. And that was DeAndre Hopkins. Period. So, listen. I think, personally, they traded him to the Cardinals. Good for DeAndre Hopkins. He's got an up-and-coming stud at quarterback, and he's got a vet in wide receiver when it comes to Larry Fitzgerald. Kyler Murray, number 1 pick last year. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. I thought it should have been Josh Jacobs in Oakland, now Las Vegas. That's going to take a while for me to get used to. But I think DeAndre Hopkins going to the Cardinals makes them a threat as well. I mean, the NFC's definitely got some teams that can challenge for the Super Bowl next year. So Houston, I'm not sure how they're feeling. I know Deshaun Watson is probably miserable right now, already quarantining and living in his apartment right now, having nothing to do, and then realizing that his number 1 deep threat is off the team. That's got to be tough. So I think the Cardinals definitely have a lot to look forward to. The Texans, I don't see them making the playoffs next year. I'm just going to be honest with you. Another trade, let's see here. Phillip Rivers. He's been around for a long time with the Chargers. An unbelievable talent. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, he has no Super Bowl rings, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, his stats speak for itself. He's going to get a new opportunity with the Colts. I think it's a great match, honestly. He knows a lot of people in the management system there in Indianapolis, and they already had a pretty good team. With Jacoby Brissett, before he got injured, they were pretty much there for the playoff race. So I think Phillip Rivers, just a fresh start, is going to be great for him. Also getting $25 million for 1 year, I mean, that doesn't hurt as well. So in addition to that, you got Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon was asking for a lot of money, and I think it's pretty obvious nowadays. If you're a running back in this league, if you're not Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott, you're not going to get paid the big bucks. It's proven. You can get a running back in any round of the draft, and they're going to come and they're going to show out. So he got his money. Listen, for anybody else, it's great money, but he didn't get his $12, $13 million. He sat out last year, lost a lot of money, and then pretty much cut what he wanted in half for this year. He is joining the Denver Broncos, but like I said, you're going to find running backs in the draft. Philip Lindsay has already proven he is a killer at the running back position for Denver. So he is going to be a threat, and I don't think Melvin Gordon's going to get as many touches as you think. But good for him. He's on a new team. Hopefully he can start a next chapter and get some things going. The CEO is in the mix. Go O's, Spurs, Ravens, and Longhorns. Okay, well, listen, Stuart, shout out. Thank you for watching. The Ravens are legit. Listen, for the next, I want to say, 5 to 10 years, you got the AFC Championship matchup. You got Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Those guys are the young studs in the NFL. They're the next coming. Yeah, you got Drew Brees for 2 more years. Tom Brady, I'm not going to put an age on it. He wants to play until 45. Listen, if he can stay healthy and do that TB12 diet, whatever he does these days, he'll go till 50. But he's in the NFC now, so when it comes to the AFC, Stuart, your Ravens are going to be just fine. Your Spurs, I don't know. They were, fighting for that 8th spot in the West this year, but I don't think they had enough. Let's see here. I'm going to keep on looking at these comments. Todd Gurley to the Falcons. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Falcons on paper are unbelievable. Matt Ryan, numbers-wise, kind of like Phillip Rivers, he's still an elite guy. And if Todd Gurley is healthy, which I think is a huge question mark, you put him with Julio Jones, which I think is the number one receiver in the game. I mean, Falcons can compete with anybody. So I really think that NFC South, like I said, Brady's the GOAT, but you got Drew Brees, you got to play twice. Guys, don't sleep on the Carolina Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater was a starter with the Vikings, was a promising quarterback, had a horrific injury, came back, and last year when Brees was injured, he was 5-0 as a starter. Now he's with Carolina, got paid 3 years, $64 million, $21 million a year annually, which is great. Ex-Louisville Cardinal. I think he's really going to be a threat. And then you got Christian McCaffrey, who's just an absolute freak. I mean, let's be honest, the dude's a stud. So you got Carolina, you got the Falcons, and who am I missing there? You got Carolina, Falcons, I don't know. But put it this way, NFC South is legit, and Tom Brady's going to have his work cut out for him. Stuart, what are you saying here? It's cutting off. Maccabi, Tel Aviv. Listen, hopefully Maccabi games are going on May 3rd. I'm running that. We got a couple of great teams. We got junior and mini soccer and basketball. I was at a couple of the tryouts. We got some young studs at the JCC Metro West. We got kids that can ball, and we got a couple of great soccer players. So listen, I mean, anybody else listening at other JCCs around the area, JCC Metro West is here. We ain't turning down from anybody, and we're taking home that gold. You can hear it here first, for sure. Rachel Gordon, sleeping on the Panthers, but I'm right. Yeah, I mean, Rachel, when am I not right? Come on. Danielle, oh my God, that's my office roommate. Yes, shout out to Danielle, my office roommate. So Danielle is in my office Wednesdays and Thursdays. Danielle, I miss you. I hope all is well and you're safe. The Globetrotters, Zach Gordon. Okay, let's talk about the Globetrotters. So we are thinking about getting the Globetrotters to Camp Genie Reback this year. That was supposed to be a surprise, but for the 18 people watching right now, there you go. Just don't tell anybody else. We are looking to get the Harlem Globetrotters to Camp Genie Reback. Obviously, you know, every year they got studs. They have so much talent. They're spinning the ball on their finger, their head, their foot, whatever they're doing. It's incredible. JCC Metro West, that's right. We're taking home the gold. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right, let's get off the football topic. Let's go to my favorite sport, which is basketball. We'll start with the NBA. So let's talk about what could have happened. Hopefully, you know, we're going to be seeing the NBA hopefully in June, hopefully in the summer. They're saying pretty much as long as we can get the championship in before the NFL begins, we're good to go. So I'm hoping that does work out, but right now, realistically, you know, it doesn't look great, but fingers crossed. I'm personally upset. I'm a huge LeBron guy. He's my man. I know a lot of people think that Giannis had it on lock, back-to-back MVPs. I mean, numbers speak for itself. He actually is improving in every single category pretty much. So, sorry. Rachel Gordon, baseball's not happening. I'm sorry. It's not my thing. Maybe next week, but right now let's stick with basketball. So, Rachel, you got me off topic here. But yeah, so Giannis averaged more points, more rebounds, more assists this year, and they're also the number one team in the league, East and West combined. I think they were on pace for 70 wins, then Giannis went down and got an MRI. It wasn't looking too good, so it looked like they were probably just going to rest for the playoffs. But, guys, I'm sorry. I have to go back to LeBron James. 17th year. Last year, went down, missed 20 games, and he's proven everyone that he's still the number one guy. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, KD's legit. AD's legit. Giannis, Kawhi. But if I want someone on my team that's going to bring me a championship, I'm picking LeBron. He's averaging 10.8 assists per game. He's still averaging 25 points. By the end of his career, he's going to He's going to total over 40,000 points, over 10,000 rebounds, and over 10,000 assists, which obviously has never been done. Yes, he's 35, but it's kind of like Tom Brady. I'm not putting a number on him. I mean, he can go as long as he wants. I know his goal is obviously to play with his son, Bronny, who is just finishing his freshman year at Sierra Canyon in California. So we'll see. That's obviously, you know, the top dog at the end of it. Sorry about that. I got a FaceTime call. I'm a busy guy these days. Isn't LeBron going to be in the new Space Jam, Rachel Gordon? Yes. So this past summer, LeBron was filming a lot. A couple other guys that they're saying are going to be in it is his new bromance, Anthony Davis. I think Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard are also in it. I'm excited for it, don't get me wrong, but as a child, Space Jam was by far my favorite movie, and I think it's really going to be hard to duplicate that and make it better. Is it going to be great? I'm sure, but I'm excited but not too excited because, I mean, Space Jam's a classic, and that's just going to be hard to beat, but it will definitely be something else. I think Anthony Davis would be a pretty funny looking character as a monster. I'll agree on that one. All right, my boss, Dana, what are you saying? I can't see. When someone else comments, it will come up, but I definitely want to answer your question. My boss is a huge Lakers fan. I know her father, Steve, is watching. Shout out to Steve Gottfried. He's a big Lakers guy. So, listen, just like you, Steve, I wanted the Lakers to win it all. I wanted them to come down and, win the ship, especially for Kobe. Rest in peace. Obviously, it's a really hard time for Laker Nation right now, but it would have been unbelievable if, at the end of the day, the Larry O'Brien trophy was in LeBron James' hands as well as the MVP trophy, and they could bring some happiness to Laker Nation. Going off that, I think, LA is the place to be right now. You got Kawhi there with Paul George. I think for the next 5-6 years, that's going to be the Western Conference Championship game for sure. Kawhi's proven he can do it by himself. I mean, wasn't happy in San Antonio, went to Toronto and said, listen, I'm going to come here for 1 year and prove to everyone that I'm the man and I can take a team. And he literally took the Raptors to a championship. I mean, the dude's a freak. His hands are like the size of a monster, literally. He's not human, so he's just unbelievable. And I think LA's got two teams that are really going to compete for championships for the next few years. I think that's great for Laker Nation. What else do we got here? Amelia, who do you think the best of all time is? I mean, yeah, MJ's the GOAT, guys. We can get into that discussion if we really want to, but listen, at the end of the day, it depends on what you look at as success. I mean, Michael Jordan went to the finals 6 times. Won 6 times, and was finals MVP 6 times. And by the way, in all 6 of those, he never went to a game 7. So, I mean, let's just end the discussion right there. I'm a huge MJ guy. I'm a huge LeBron guy. Let's just respect greatness, guys. I mean, it's different generations. But Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT. I think LeBron will go down second at the end of the day. I think he already cemented that, to be honest. He can retire right now and be second of all time. But it's MJ and LeBron, but MJ has that edge, and I don't think that will ever change, for sure. Dana Godfrey, name the only NBA player to lead the league in assists scoring in the same season. Oof. Putting me on the spot there. Let me think about that, and I will get back to you. But a couple of people come to mind. I mean, LeBron's probably going to be 25 and 10 this year. That's got to be close. I'm assuming Oscar Robertson might be up there. But I'm not sure on that one. You tricked me, Dana, so congratulations. Let's talk college basketball. It's supposed to be March Madness right now. It's Sunday right now. My dad was supposed to be coming in to watch Arizona play this weekend, and obviously with everything going on, that was not allowed to happen, obviously. So very upset about that. This is like my favorite time of year. And especially this year too. I mean, I think everyone loves March Madness because you can watch any game, and no matter who's playing, anybody can win. I mean, we saw it a couple years ago with the 16 seed being Virginia by 20. Obviously, it's the first time it ever happened, but you see upsets all this time. You see the 12-5 upset every year. It's not number 1 seeds every year going to the Final Four. If you don't watch a college basketball game, you can still join a bracket, and you have a pretty good chance of winning compared to someone like myself who watches college basketball 24/7. So it's a great time for everyone to get together, for sure. And this year would have been incredible because the parity in college basketball was something else. I mean, Dayton was going to be a number 1 seed. Like, are you serious? Dayton? San Diego State, Baylor. I mean, a lot of teams that typically, not your Blue Bloods, your Kentucky, Dukes, North Carolinas, Villanovas, Kansases, were making noise this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dayton was in the Final Four. So, obviously, I'm very biased. Every single year, I put Arizona to win it all. If you don't know me, if you do know me, you already know this. I'm a diehard Arizona basketball fan. I bleed it like since I've been 7 years old, since they won the national championship. My family and I are obsessed. We name our dog Zona. So we're diehard fans. It's kind of crazy sometimes. You don't want to be around me if they lose, put it that way. But they were going to be in it. I think they had a run. I mean, we played Gonzaga and Baylor this year and only lost by single digits, not even fully healthy. So this could have been our year. I say that every year since 2001. But one day we will be champions again. Sean Miller's got to prove it. I know he can recruit, but he hasn't been able to deliver in the moments. We made it to 3 Elite Eights, and he hasn't been to any Final Fours yet. And you can recruit, but you got to coach also, and he hasn't been able to do that in the spotlight. So, unfortunately, we have to wait. Robin Gold, what is going on? Okay, awesome. Jets. So obviously, I just mentioned that I am a die-hard Arizona fan. My second favorite team is the New York Jets. What are our chances this year in the NFL? Well, Robin, let's first start off with this. Tom Brady is not in our division anymore. So we don't have to play him twice a year, which is unbelievable. So that's 2 losses that we would have every year that we're not going to have this year. So I'm happy about that. Listen, Sam Darnold still has to prove himself to me. Some games I think he's unbelievable. I think he can be an elite player in the league. And other times I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you looking at? Yeah, I know everyone's going to talk about when he saw Ghost versus the Patriots last year, but sometimes he just looks like he's like literally throwing the ball to the other team, and it drives me nuts. So he still has a lot to prove for me. I think his third year is a big year for him. His first year, he was injured last year, obviously with the mono. He missed the first 4 games, and there was just a ton of injuries. So, listen, that's part of sports. But if everyone's healthy and he has a full year under his belt, I think he can be someone who can make some noise. But he's got to prove it to me. Marissa Cohen, great job, Todd. Thank you, Marissa. But yeah, listen, I think the Jets are making some moves right now in free agency. Obviously, the number one thing is you have to protect your quarterback. He's got to stay healthy for 16 games. Now 17 games, I believe it's going to be. But I think we've already signed like 5 offensive linemen. But I think we're just signing them to sign them, honestly. None of these guys are big names. Like, I'm not that happy with it. First of all, if you're going to start 5 new offensive linemen, the chemistry is going to take a while. They're not going to gel in one season. It's not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm answering your question, Robin. Listen, if I'm going to be honest, they're probably going to be 7-9, 8-8. I think the Bills are making some moves, signing Stephon Diggs. I think Josh Allen's pretty legit. He's an athletic quarterback, can move outside the pocket. Big guy as well. So I think right now you got to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. But then again, you got the GOAT, coach with Bill Belichick, and then you got the Jets, who I think are making moves. Listen, you got the Prez, Jamal Adams, best safety in the league, hands down. If anybody wants to talk about it, we can talk about it. Robbie Anderson, if we re-sign him, I mean, he'll cut the top off of defense. He's extremely quick, and he can give you that long bomb. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. CDR March Madness, we can talk about that as well. So obviously I know everyone's extremely upset that March Madness is not going on, but Camp Dini Reback is doing their own March Madness. So if you follow us on the gram or Insta, my bosses like to call it Insta, but they're a little older, so I keep it with the young ones and call it the gram. Follow us. We are doing favorite moments at camp, and you guys can go on and vote. There's going to be polls. I think we're going to do one either later tonight or tomorrow, but just keep an eye out and follow us on the gram. Carnival is one that's up there. I think Carnival is honestly one of the best days at camp. I mean, who doesn't like cotton candy, snow cone machines, popcorn, bouncy machines, water slides, all that good stuff. And then for parents, it's great. The kids are exhausted. They get off the bus, they go home, and they take a nap. So you have nothing to do when they get home. So I think it's a win-win. Football. Let's go back to football a little bit. So obviously, Tom Brady. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he should have kept with the Patriots and just finished out his career with one team? I know I'm going to get Rachel Gordon excited here. Should he have done a Derek Jeter, stay with one team, a Kobe Bryant, a Tim Duncan? Those are a couple people that come to mind. But listen, I don't think Tom Brady had anything else to prove to you guys. I think a lot of the fans are just being really selfish at this point. He was there 20 years and made it to 9 Super Bowls. I mean, that's literally almost 50% and won 6. So let the man do what he wants to do. He had a great time there. I mean, he sent out a great Instagram message to all of you that he loved his time there, but he wanted another challenge and wanted to try something new. Also, he took crazy pay cuts to get guys. I mean, he made it very clear to Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick that he needed weapons in order to succeed, and they just didn't give it to him. Yeah, you signed Antonio Brown, but everyone knew that he was going to just last for 3 or 4 games. I mean, all the off-field nonsense, I mean, that dude's a diva, so let's not even talk about him. I mean, he's complete nonsense. So Julian Edelman's a great guy, but he can't be your number one guy for 5, 6, 7 straight years and get the job done. He took pay cuts. He let you know what he wanted. You guys didn't, deliver on it, so now he's down in Tampa. And listen, it's going to be very weird seeing him in a different jersey and a different helmet, but it looks like every free agent now is calling Tom Brady and saying he wants, they want in, and I don't blame them. You play to, put that ring on your finger at the end of the season, and Brady's got 6 of them, so who else to look at but Brady? Yes, Rachel Gordon. Derek Jeter is a class act. Oh my God, my father is here. Okay, best Jet of all time. Well, my favorite Jet was Wayne Corbett growing up. That's why I'm a Jets fan. Just so you guys know, my entire family are diehard Giant fans. My dad will say he's a Jet and Giant fan, but I know he's a Giant fan. My uncles have season tickets to the Giants, so me being a Jet fan is not ideal in the family. But I would say the best Jet of all time, it's got to be Joe Namath. I mean, we only have one Super Bowl, and he brought it home, and he also guaranteed it. So I think it's pretty obvious Joe Namath is the number one quarterback for the Jets, but also the best Jet of all time. But my favorite player is Wayne Corbett for the Jets for sure. Small guy. No one thought he can do it. He proved everyone wrong, had a ton of concussions, kept on coming back and delivered. I mean, in 1998, I was 8 years old, and they made it to the AFC Championship game with him, Keyshawn Johnson, Vinny Testaverde, Curtis Martin, Bill Parcells, head coach. So that was my favorite time being a Jets fan. Hopefully we can get those good times coming back. Yeah, Robin Gold. Brett Favre joining the Jets. That was awesome. I mean, listen, who doesn't want Brett Favre under the pocket? So that was a great year. But listen, I'm thinking back to my 29 years, and Chad Pennington, Vinny Testaverde, like those are our two big names. I mean, if you want to throw Mark Sanchez in, but we got to those AFC Championship games just based on defense alone. So it's tough. But yeah, I mean, Brett Favre there for a year was really exciting. I think he was there with LaDainian Tomlinson for a year. So, I mean, two obviously Hall of Famers on the team at the same time was pretty cool. Deb, I know you're a Giants fan, but I don't want to talk about the Giants. Rachel Gordon, I want that picture of Joe Namath if it's autographed. So let me know if I can get that. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. So comment below. Let me know topics you want to discuss. Right now, if you guys are college basketball fans, on CBS, they're posting all of the tournament games. I believe the game from last year, Virginia versus Texas Tech, was just on. And you know what? We'll talk about that for a little bit, because I think Virginia's an interesting story. You know, nowadays you see a lot of players going one and done, going straight to the pros or going overseas. And I think in a couple years, it's just going to be straight high school to NBA. Virginia's an interesting story. You got a guy like Ty Jerome, the point guard, and Kyle Guy, shooting guard, that both stayed there for 3 years. DeAndre Hunter, I believe, was also in their class. So you got three studs that stayed for 3 years. And I think that's just great for college basketball. Your Kentuckys and your Dukes all have your Zion Williamsons and RJ Barretts and Trey Jones and all those guys who come for 1 year and show out. But they never, really build that chemistry and form a team atmosphere where they can go past the second weekend and get to the Final Four. The only one that really comes to mind is Kentucky. I believe it was in 2012 when you had Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, the freshman duo, get Kentucky to win the national championship. But I think it's awesome to see guys who, work day in and day out and, put 3 years in and, work out and put in the grind and see the results. Virginia basketball is not fun to watch, that's for sure. I mean, it's all defense. They hold their opponents to 50, 60 points. If you score 60 points on Virginia, I mean, congratulations. That's a job well done. But I think it's really cool to see guys, upperclassmen, stay there and finally get that achievement of winning it all. I think it's pretty cool. Astros and the Red Sox cheating scandal. That is baseball, Rachel Gordon. You're obviously not listening to me. But, I mean, listen, honestly, since I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have a bat signed by Sammy Sosa. When everyone was cheering for Mark McGwire during the home run race, I was the only one rooting for Sammy Sosa. And then obviously 5-10 years down the road, I find out he was a cheater. So as a child, baseball was pretty much ruined from me for the start. Everyone's juicing. Everyone's, getting extremely jacked and ripped so they can hit more home runs. And I get it. They want to hit more home runs, so then when their contract's up, they're going to get paid. But you can't cheat the game. And all the little kids that are watching now, it's horrible. It really is. So baseball's not my thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The Astros are cheaters. They won the World Series, and they cheated. So I don't know why they deserve that. I think, what's the little guy's name? Jose Altuve. I don't think he should be MVP. I think it should be Aaron Judge. He stole that from him. It's pretty obvious. My father wants me to talk about the time I met Willis Reed. So my dad and I and my brother, we used to always go to sporting events, and Willis Reed, I believe, was working for what used to be the New Jersey Nets, and my dad was like, that's Willis Reed. Willis Reed is like a Hall of Famer, played for the New York Knicks, obviously the the iconic game when he came back and scored the first 4 points of the game when he was hurt in the playoffs. And I went up to him, and I'm pretty sure I said, what position, or I asked my dad, what position does he play? Shooting guard. And obviously Willis Reed is 6'10", 6'11", he's a center, and he's one of the most well-known New York Knicks of all time. So my dad cracks up about that still to this day. Speaking about the Knicks, that's probably the last time they were relevant. So yeah, that was a pretty funny story. Samara, what's going on? The football cheating. Tell me a little bit about that and what you mean. I'm not really sure what you're talking about there. Rachel Gordon, you agree? Okay. Yeah, listen, I mean, if you want to talk about the Yankees, I guess if I'm a fan of any team, it's the Yankees. I think, obviously, they signed, Jared Cole? His first name's Jared, I think. They gave him, $250 million. I mean, the contracts that MLB players get are insane. I think Mike Trout got, with all incentives and whatnot, $427 million. It's incredible, especially for pitchers. If you're a number one pitcher, you're getting paid $300 million pretty much, on a 10-year deal, and you're playing once a week. Drives me nuts that NFL players don't have guaranteed contracts. I mean, they put their heart and soul into the game, and they get beat up, and I get that's why it's probably not guaranteed, but you got to pay them, man. You got to pay them. Deb, what's my favorite sport to play? Basketball for sure. Being 5'8", though, it doesn't help me too much, but that's definitely my favorite game to watch and play. I'm a diehard basketball geek. I mean, if you're in my apartment, I'm watching basketball nonstop. It doesn't matter if it's Division III, Division II, Division I, men's, women's, whatever it is. My TV is always basketball, so that's my favorite sport for sure. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. I'm here to answer any questions. Let's see here. Yes, JCC, thank you for reminding everyone. Follow CDR on Instagram. We're doing our own little March Madness this week, so just to keep the vibes going. Obviously, it's March Sadness right now since no games are on, but yeah. Okay, my boss's dad has a question. What is the only Yankee number to be retired twice, and who? Guys, you're clearly not listening to me. Baseball's not my thing, so you're putting me on the spot, and I do not know these answers. So if anybody knows that answer, yeah, just shout it out or comment below. NBA, let's go to NBA. What do you guys think about the whole who's the greatest of all time? I know we talked about this a little bit before, but I think people just don't respect generations. I know I always have this argument with my dad, or not argument, but I talk about it, and I'm like, who would win? The best players in the 60s and 70s or the players nowadays? And we're never going to know. Obviously, back in the day, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, Pete Maravich, Jerry West, Magic Johnson, you can go on. And then nowadays, I always say, could Shaq... I feel like Shaq would dominate Bill Russell. I mean, Shaq's a beast. He's massive. I don't think anybody can contain him. So I think nowadays people are just so much more athletic and stronger. That's why I think, players nowadays would, I think, honestly, tear up the old school NBA players. I mean, Steph Curry is reinventing the game. I mean, kids these days don't practice shooting layups and backing up. They start by shooting 30-footers, which is not ideal. I don't think that's the best way to start. So if you have kids, make sure they're practicing their inside game and their inside shooting first. But they're changing the game. Yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon. And it's funny you mentioned that because Hakeem Olajuwon, thank you, Amelia, Hakeem Olajuwon is actually training a lot of these players now. So the old guys are just giving the new guys all their secrets. Before Kobe Bryant left us, I know he was big on training players. He had the Mamba Academy, and he had guys like Aaron Gordon and Devin Booker and James Harden come in summer and work on their game and teach them little things to help out. Stewart, yes, Timmy D is actually coaching. I mean, they call him the big fundamental for no reason. He is the guy who is not fancy, not going to make you jump out of your seat, but he's got 5 rings, and I mean, he wouldn't be in my top 10, but if someone put him top 10 of all time, I really couldn't argue that. It's definitely debatable. So, yeah, Tim Duncan is definitely someone that if I had a child or when I have a child down the road, I would want them to implement their game after him. my dad's favorite player is Manu Ginobili because he moves without the ball. So, I mean, listen, if you want to see proper basketball and like the fundamentals of basketball, watch Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, he's going to get it done every single time. Okay, so the answer to that Yankee question, if anyone was wondering, number 8, Yogi and Bill Dickey both wore number 8. I did not know that, so you do learn something new every single day here. Rachel Gordon, Aaron Gordon is not your cousin. If he was, I'd freak out because he played for Arizona. So if you have that Joe Namath signed plaque and Aaron Gordon's your cousin, I'm going to be at your house right after this video. 2 best centers of all time. 2 best centers of all time. Oof. I mean, right off the top, without even thinking about it, I'm thinking about like Wilt and Kareem. But it goes back to generations. I mean, Shaq was a monster. I mean, obviously I'm talking about Shaq because that was during my childhood, but no one was stopping Shaq, but no one also was stopping Wilt and Kareem. I mean, I think you throw those 3 in, those are probably the Wilt, Kareem, Bill, and Shaq, I think are your top 4 centers of all time. I know we just spoke about Hakeem, but I don't put him in that category. Stuart, appreciate it. Yes, I think I'm on top. Yeah, Bill Russell, Danny. Yeah, like I said, I mean, everyone talks about like Michael Jordan with the 6 rings. Bill Russell has 11. I don't think anybody, I think some people know that, but they forget to talk about it. He is 11, so, I mean, the guy knows how to win. But dominant force itself, I mean, Shaq was an absolute monster. Shaq and Kobe, 2000 to 2003, I mean, I don't think you're ever going to see a better duo. Karl Malone and John Stockton were definitely a great duo, but they never delivered. The Bulls always beat them out. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James on the Heat, that was obviously crazy. And then the last 4 or 5 years with the Warriors, I don't think you're ever going to see that again. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, known as the Splash Brothers. I mean, if you really think about it, those are probably 2 of the top 5 shooters of all time. I mean, you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and I'd probably throw in Ray Allen and Reggie Miller there. You could pick the 5th, but I think those are probably the top 4 just pure shooters. A minute on the clock, or if you need a 3-point shot, you're giving it to them. And they've all proven it. Obviously, Ray Allen, Game 6 of the NBA Finals, pretty much secured LeBron's legacy, and he got them that ring in Miami. So those are definitely the top shooters. Yes, Amar Stoudemire is Jewish and I don't know if he's playing anymore, but he does own an Israeli basketball team. I actually met him in East Hampton 5 years ago, and obviously being a sports fanatic, I freaked out and punched my friend in the stomach because I was so excited to see him. Literally anybody I see who plays professional sports, I get starstruck so easily. When I go visit my dad in Arizona, obviously I go to McHale Center. That's the first visit I go. And I just walk around until I see one of the players and freak out and get a picture and talk about it for the rest of the day. So, Amari Stoudemire in Israel is pretty cool. Why did Hakeem Olajuwon win against Shaq? So I am 29 years old. I'm still pretty young. What year was that? I know they won it in... Was it 94 and 95 the Rockets won it? Shaq was on the Magic, I believe, then. And listen, I'm not saying Hakeem Olajuwon is not an unbelievable player. Hall of Famer. I mean, you could put him top 6, 7 centers, but I just don't have him in my top 4. I'm trying to think. I mean, listen, Shaq was young. He was with Penny Hardaway. And don't get me wrong, that was a great duo in the early 90s. I wasn't really, old enough to remember it, but I'm talking Shaq in his prime. If you put Shaq and Kobe in 2000 against Hakeem Olajuwon, Kenny the Jet Smith, Clyde Drexler, Sam Cassell, and those boys, I think Lakers would have run away with that. I'll give the Rockets 1 game, but I think the Lakers win in 5 easily. So, Amelia, you're definitely a Rockets fan. You're definitely an Hakeem fan. He's legit, for sure. And Sharon, Amelia, I'm very impressed. We could talk sports all the time back at the JCC for sure. I love it. Okay, so guys, I think I ran out of time. I got way too excited talking about all these sports, but if you guys want to listen to me again and talk sports, we can do this again next week. I hope you guys are all safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I look forward to speaking with you guys again soon. All right, take care.